Hi, Anne, you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay there? I can see you, but can't hear you. Sorry. Are you there,
Hi.
Anne, now?
Can you hear me this time?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you're back.
I don't know what that was all about. It kept switching everything all off and all on again. So first time I've used this system, so it's probably me.
No, it's probably high technology here. I'm just, as I said, I think I've a couple others just coming on, so just give them a wee couple of minutes and I'll come back on. All right.
No
At
problem.
least we're working now.
Well, that's a good start.
Yep. Just giving another wee couple of minutes. I think a couple other people had registered coming on, but and it'll be hopefully this will be short and brief.
Okay.
Hello, by the way. This is Neil.
All right, now just checking this through. Yeah. So we're having a few technology issues to start with, but we're sorted now, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my camera settings. I can't see it. Never mind.
We'll get. We think we'd get this technology sorted.
We'll get there.
Get them in.
I'll just turn the microphone off just now so you can't hear any background noise.
No problem. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just start like if anybody joins in now, but I'll just quickly go through this because I said the plan is just to try and get these as little. Just give you a little update. The plan is I'm just trying to do. Some of the clubs have said they would quite like just little snippets on certain bits of Club V1 rather than sometimes a bit of overload when we do the whole thing. So the idea behind these is just try and do wee snippets. So you'll see probably over the next few weeks I'll be dropping some emails with just be additional ones I'll be adding in as clubs contact me and ask for me to do wee things on certain aspects. So I don't know if you saw, I've just added one, I think in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, just on competition charging. I'm going to ask for that, but I'll just do this one. I'll just start this one on the website. So I'll just click share. Okay. So can I just check? Can you guys see my screen with the Club V1 system? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So just a quick thing on the website. I know I'm assuming some of you might have the website, some might not have it. So just for those that don't have the website with Club V1, just to say that obviously the big thing with Club V1 website on the premium package is that it's in Club V1, and to get access to that, you just do club, and in here you've got your club site. Okay. Now, if one thing on that, if you don't have a current website with Club V1, sorry, you don't have a current website with Club V1, and you're actually just in the process of you're going to want to do design on it in Club V1 or look at it in Club V1. What we do have in your Club V1 system under this domains here, this is where you basically add in, when you wish to swap over the website, this is where we add in your current domain like for your website. So if it's my club Drumpellier, we would add in drumpelliergolfclub.co.uk. But what you have got when you're working on websites, so you've not swapped, if you're looking at just creating your site on Club V1 before you want to transfer over, you've got this little test domain here that you can click on. And when you click on that, that allows you to actually look at how the website looks prior to going live with it. So this allows you, if you wish, if you're designing it yourself or we're doing some work on it, I'm doing some work on it for you, to actually preview the site and have a look at it. And then when you're happy, then just say swap over. So I don't know if you knew that was there. As I said, if you're on our current site, this isn't really needed, but it's just to say if you're looking at swapping your website over to Club V1 website, that's where that part's there. Okay, so go back to Club V1. So basically in Club V1, the website, quick go to the website, is all the website stuff is controlled in Club V1. And probably the first thing just to show you that you have just a little bit on it is the media section here. This basically is where any images that you wish to use on the website, you can upload. Now, we do limit the size of the image. It's really just for your own benefit so that you've not loaded up a massive high quality image that takes ages to download on the website. And basically, if you want to just add an image in, you just click on upload image. And that'll take you to basically your computer normally. And from there, you just pick basically pictures. On your pictures, any picture you wish to add in. Okay. And just click a picture on the Bathgate. Okay, Bathgate Golf Club. Okay. And then there, you can say, now you can crop it, you can do different sizes on it. There's a bit of a limitation on these sizes on through. If you do have having a problem with some of the image sizes you've got or something, just drop me a little email because I have got some packages that allow you to edit and modify images a little better to through. But if I'm just happy with that one there and I can drag it about, I want that little picture there. So that's all that's involved in uploading an image, and it'll be in here section here. Okay. If I've used images, I can actually select them and delete them as well. I can take some over, and if I want to give them names, just to say that's where you load up all your images that you want to use in your website. Okay. So let's go back to the main website though. If I click on the main website, let's look at the menus. The main thing I would normally do when I'm doing a website is I go to the menu, basically. And from here, this is the menus from the website. Now, nothing more complicated than, if I go back to my website, these are these buttons along the top. Okay. And to simply just explain these a little bit, basically these are the main buttons, and these are what they call child menus. So basically nice and simple way we do it, like family structure. You've got your main club structure buttons there, and these take you to sub menus come through. Okay. Now, all these menus, if I go back to club website, is down here. So if I look there, you see our club, clubhouse. I go back to website, our club, clubhouse, what's on, etc. So these are the main structures. Now, if you look at the website here, you see I've got 8 buttons, 8 master buttons. You can have basically 8 main buttons along the top. It's just basically to sit on the way it displays on the screen. And basically you have your child menus. So you'll see here I have, if I minimize this down, my 8 main buttons. And from that, I then have these child menu buttons, and you can have as many child menus if you like. And to add a child menu button, all you have to do is click add child menu and add and say test, whatever you want it to be. And that will add a new button below the section here that you want to add onto. My advice would be don't add loads and loads of buttons there. So you've got big, massive drop downs. You can try and be quite concise on what you're putting on these sections. A rule of thumb, basically, when you are looking at a menu setting, basically, it should only take a maximum of 2 clicks for someone to get to the section they want to go to. So it's a little bit design on through. And again, just go off the menus here. If you wish, you can actually click here, and if you want to change them, you can rename them whatever you like. Just call them the name you want to have and change them. So after you've done them, if you wish to change the names of them, just go back and change them. Now, the other thing with the menu buttons are that these menu buttons then, where do I want to click, link them to? And if I look at this one for the Clubhouse, I've got a little bit here saying set link. Okay, and basically what I'm simply saying here is when I click on that button, which page do I want it to go to? If I click on set link, it says there it'll go to a link. Now, I've got these pre-populated pages or custom pages. Pre-populated pages, these are like things that we give you where you've got cookie policy, privacy policy, terms and conditions. Really, don't normally need a direct link to them because they're at the bottom, but if you wish, you can put them through. Or the option you normally would use is custom pages, and that links basically to any pages you have created. And I will show you in a minute how you create those pages and how they're there to use. I'll just click down and click all the pages you have created. The other option you've got is called the custom URL. And that's basically if you have a website that you wish to link to. So it's down a little bit. If you went to the website and I put let's see, Joe Block, Dells.com, whatever. If I wanted a link to that for some reason, I could actually copy that link and put that link in. But here and put link in there. URL. That'll go to link. Also, just so you know where you could use that, you would probably use that more often is if you have BRS booking, for example, you would probably put a link there to your BRS visitor booking link. Or if you've got any other booking system or any external system you want a link to, you could put that link there. But I would say probably most clubs tend to use that as a link to their booking, their visitor booking, their BRS visitor booking. When you also sync that link as well, a little additional thing you just so you know you've got here is you'll see this called link target. Now, just to explain if you don't know what this means is when I click on link target, you see I've got an option here of same tab or open a new tab. Basically, if I explain how that works is if I'm on a website and I click basically what's on. Okay, I've got buttons now, diary, whatever. You'll see I'm still staying with the website. But if I had a link to my booking, I'm trying to think who's probably got it somewhere through. It would take me to, it would basically open up an additional tab and leave my website still open. So it would take me to, so where if you have a link, an external link, you would take them to BRS booking, but you don't want to close your website down. It would just open up what you call a new tab here, and you get a new tab for them to enter. So that's where this part here is worth using for. So what you don't want is, if you are going to use it for your BRS linking to their booking, you want it to go to BRS's website. And probably, as I said, if I show you in action, my club here, you'll see we've got visitors, and to book a tea time, we've got an external link, and you'll see here it's gone to BRS's booking system, but it's left my website still open here, so it's not actually closed the website down. So that's why, give a little bit of think when you're putting those links how they're going to work. Right there. Okay. So as I said, that's your menu structure, and normally I would advise, if you're doing your website, it's worth doing your menu structure first. If you want, I can certainly drop you a list of what I would suggest clubs should be their main sort of menu structure for their website. So this part here, I've got some standard things that I tend to recommend clubs set up. But then it means you can create your menu structure, and basically from that you would then create the pages. My way I normally explain this to clubs is quite a simple way, is I always think of these being like Monopoly. Those from Rachel a little bit, those who played Monopoly, these are the different colours. This is my brown, this is Old Kent Road, whatever, and then my yellow, whatever. It's a nice and easy way to think of. You're laying out your Monopoly set, and you're putting your properties then, and those properties are the links you have for direct sites. Okay. So basically, once you've got your menu structure, the next part you want to look at is the site pages. Okay, and this is basically where you can create any pages you wish to create. And you'll see here, I mentioned earlier, the pre-populated pages. These are pages that we just provide standard for you for your cookies policy, things, whatever, that are on the website to save you creating all these. So you probably don't do anything much with these. What you would do though is down here, you've got all your pages, and you'll see I've got a clubhouse, captains welcome, whatever. Okay, I've got things here. I've got my officers. These are pages here. So if I want to add another page to my website that I would like a link to, I simply just click on the plus sign and call the page whatever I pay, demo today or whatever. Okay, that then creates a page, basically. And I've created that page. Now that page is not on the website. It's not viewable anymore. It's not. Nobody can see it because I've not done it finished it yet. And what you'll see here is it says status is draft. So basically, when you look at the edit of the station here, you'll see that if I click the station there, it says it's in draft. So it's not been published. What that means is I'm working on this page. I've not published it to the website yet, so nobody can see it, because I want to just work on it before anybody can click on it or see it. Okay. Normally it doesn't matter so much. I tend to say just change it to published, and you may wonder why, but it just means that I can have it published to the website, but unless I create, going back to where I mentioned the menu structure, create a menu link, nobody on the website can click to it unless I create a direct link to it. Okay, so I normally just say just publish it, it's there anyway, but it's all up to you how you operate with the system. Okay. Once I've got the page here, the main part is how you design the page and how you create the page. And quite simply, what you have got in the system is that when you click on this little thing here, you get what we call blocks. Now these are design blocks to basically help you design your website. And we've got a lot of different status here on things here, how we go through, but basically I've got a double testimonial page, gallery parcel, gallery text. So all these are different things. So if I want, for example, a side by side, if I click side by side, yeah, it just asks me to add in the images I want, description, whatever through, and they'll come through. And when I go back to the website, as I said, these pages will scroll up here. So if I look at that one, it's the carousel and Dropelia, that's through, go back to my own one here, my own site. You'll see, so if I look at my own site, on my home page here, this is the pictures I've got. And if I go back to my site here and go to my home page, this is my block here I've added in is the carousel block. And the carousel block, which again is in one of these, that is down here, carousel, but is that one there. So again, you have a play about with these blocks, have a look, you can see a bit of things through. But that carousel block I've added in is basically, and if I look at that carousel block, these are the images that are on this carousel block. And if I go to my website, you'll see basically that's my image there. But say I want to take a lovely picture of the course today, and I want that front page picture to be a little different. And I encourage clubs to do this, put seasonal pictures on. It looks nice, keeps the site look live if you've got a seasonal picture on there. All I would simply do is go back there, click from that picture there. That then takes me to all the pictures that I have, basically. And I can pick, let's just say that one there. I'll just down there through. Say pick from my media gallery, save. Okay. And now if I go to my website and refresh, you'll see the picture's been changed. So that's how easy it is to change the pictures through. Okay. Now each of these blocks, if I go back here, you'll see I've got course data. Again, that's the course status. So you'll see my website. If I scroll down, there's the course status. And these are probably jump a little bit here, but this is showing you a little bit of where the integration with Club V1 comes through. That course status ticker is linked to your course status. If I go to my Club V1, I don't know if anybody uses this a lot, but this is linked to where I set my course status in Club V1. So if I change that here, it updates automatically on the website and go through, sets through. Again, back to club site. It's just a simple block that I've added in on my homepage. Side by side, again, another type of the blocks I've got. And again, this is where you get a little bit of customization on how you want to put things in. So I'll go back to my website. So that's that block there. So that's the side by side block. So I'll go back to my site. That's my side by side. And if you scroll down, you'll see I've got that first picture, that picture. And again, if I wish to change any of these, I can just check it and pick another picture up. If I wish to change the text on it. So as I said, if I look at back to my side by side where I've got that first one there, golf clubs are established in 1963. Special, I want to just update and say special joining offer, for example. You can check my spelling, because my spelling's atrocious. Join offer. If I save that simply on the website, if I then just refresh, you see here, basically, it's updated straight through. Nice and simple, straight through. So basically, on the website to explain, that's a block, that's a block, that's a block. And I've also got a block like a contact block. If I go back there, you'll see I've got my contact form, which again, I click add blocks. You'll see my contact form. I can actually go to my forms here. Is there a contact form? That's simply add that in. And the only thing it adds in that when I add that in is basically I can actually add and say if someone fills that block, who do I want that inquiry to go to? You can have multiple emails it goes to multiple people, or just the same people, and you can set what you wish to request, their name, their telephone, their email and message, which most clubs would tick those on. Also, just a little show in this block is when you put a block in, you can decide that you can show it as visible, or you can hide it. Basically, so if you don't want that block to show it, we take it off. So if I hide that, for example, save. Let's go back to my website. You'll see now my contact form has disappeared off the website. So if I don't want something on it or I want to change it or edit, I just simply hide it. And if I want to put it back in, I can just save it, I can show it, and it'll come back in. It's back. Okay. One wee thing in the blocks as well, just hide and divider. Simply that is basically at the end of each block, if I click show, it puts a line along the bottom of the divider. That's also, see this little line here, if you want to show it or not. It's just some clubs like to split the blocks into separate sections. So basically adding the blocks are quite simple to do. Obviously the big advantage of clubs using the Club V1 website is basically when you click on this, a lot of these blocks are integrated to Club V1. So basically my scorecard, if I add that scorecard block in, that actually picks in. So if I click on, let's say add it, it simply asks me what course card from my Club V1 system do I wish to display. So if I go back to my website, my course card, simply there, you see it's picking up my course card, and that is automatically picked up from your Club V1 system. So when you change your Club V1 rating or change anything Club V1, that is updated. And again, other thing block, if I wish to remove that block, you can just click remove and take that block away. So if you don't want it anymore to be there. Sorry. So that's where these blocks we've got through. And again, there's a number of integrated blocks here we have. Not all of them are blank, but the club diary. That basically is putting the club diary in from Club V1. So again, if I go back to my website here, just close that down, sorry. You'll see I've got a block called What's On. And on my What's On page here, I've got a block called Club Diary. And that Club Diary basically is just when I click to add that in, there is a block called Club Diary. And what that simply does is when I go to my club, What's On, basically there's my Club V1 diary. Yeah. And I've also got, if I wish, I've got another block in there called Club News, which is putting some Club News stuff from Club V1 in as well. But that one, very much the Club Diary one's good. That can also be used by some clubs, just to let you know, your events and fixtures and things through if you have your all your competitions. Basically, that diary there, I go back to Club V1, is that diary there. So that diary there is what is getting displayed on the website. I don't have to do anything else. So basically, if your conveners put on all their fixtures for the year, that will automatically be on the website diary. And that's why the Integration Club club site, these blocks are here. Couple other interesting blocks as well, just for golf blocks. There's quite a lot, as I said, and they're worth having a little play with some of them. I can put a club sponsors block in, is just to basically you have a sponsors, you can put in if you hold sponsors, etc. And I said I showed you the one in the contact form. The other one that's quite useful as well is this prospects one we've added in. Basically, what the prospects one does is it's basically similar to the contact form. Okay, and if I add it in. But instead of what it does is basically it does the same thing, telephone, message, date of birth, email who is going to go. What I can do though is add in an email of here and you will be notified that someone has filled in an application basically they wish to join the club. You can put a little note on it, description. What that then does is you will be sent a notification of this person's interest to join the club. What it also does is it adds those details into Club V1, your directory of people. Not as a member, but under a thing called contacts. And basically that means then when you contact them about joining, if they join the club, you've got their details, their phone numbers and things through that you can add on. So as I say, you can then convert to member. Again, we've added that in through. So again, if I just remove that block, these blocks are all things to change with. Yeah. As I said, I'm just trying to do this quite quickly as well. But obviously one other thing which I tend to emphasize to clubs as well, the big thing with Club V1 that you remember is most people you obviously on the premium will have the members app. And the big thing to remember is basically what the members app does, if I go back to my website, is give you what I would suggest is a second website. And historically, clubs would always have a members section of the website, which is basically secure lockdown, members can only access information in there. So those of you that use the members app will actually see that there is members app basically, and we've got some information in the members app of the zone. But what you've got is in here, you've got a members app link, which is basically, if you look at this, you'll see it just looks the exact same file login. Sorry, just log in. Is like the members app that basically they have on their phones, but this is a web version of it. And what basically think of this is you then have a second website. And if you have that link, so this again, if I go back, you'll see that on that page, my members app link, this is what again, back to said is an external link. It's took me out to the app and I can give you the link for that. Just email me and I can give you the link you can add into your website for that. But it takes you to a web version of the app. And this is great because it saves you all the issue of the members information being uploaded. If I look at my results here, so all the results of competitions are there. I'll switch, actually, let me switch clubs. So I go to my other club, Rampelia. Put my results on there. So you see here, if I go results, all my results of competitions are all on the website. I don't have to do anything. It's all coming straight through. I can look at my finance, look at my card, my spend, look at my subscription. Okay, and switch clubs. That's why I've got multiple clubs. Members can see their card, they can see their subscription, they can see all that on the website. You're not having to do all that, it's all going through, and that's where that's a handy link to have. One sort of final thing on the probably higher end of the website is just so if you know, there is a little thing that I've been asked in the past, is this little thing called scripts. And this is basically if you wish to add in some Google tracking data to see who's visiting your site, etc. Again, I can give you advice on that. Just contact me. You can add in sort of scripts. So some clubs will add in basically Google Analytics stuff where they'll get reports to say what people have accessed, how many people visit their website, just to say we can help you get set that up as well. Okay. So basically, that's the main website stuff. The website. One sort of final thing on the website is that when you're on the website here, and it was back to those menus, you see as well down the menus here, I was just talking about the menu structure, but you've also got in here some style settings. And this is basically, if you wish, you can change different settings. I won't hide the fact that you can normally recognize a Club V1 website because there is quite a structured design on it. But basically that's because to make sure that everything works that's fed into the website works and doesn't crash the system, we try and keep it quite standard. But you can look at some changes, some styles you've got there. If I want, I can change some colors for the crest or not. I can look at the fonts. I could actually pick some different fonts if I want. So you do have a little bit of customization on the style at the bottom, etc. What you want for the bottom, what you want for. And what that does allow you a little bit is, if I go back to like some clubs, is even though you've got a standard system, but if you look at my clubs here, it's done on the Club V1 system here we've got. Okay, so we've got that system. Now that's done on the system. We've got links through, whatever, quite simple done. But if you look at, for example, Greenburn Golf Club, again, another site done in our system, done in the exact same system. But if you look between those two sites, completely different. So basically, you do have a bit of flexibility to customize how you want to put in. I think Punteland, a couple of different sites have got. What I would normally suggest to clubs is quite often is what tends to help some clubs when they're looking at revamping or doing their site. I would say, if you want, just drop me a little email and I can send you a list of clubs that are using our site and you can get some ideas from them, how they've got set up, what they're using them for. So I said, they've got a nice thing at the bottom of theirs. And again, you see they've got some information about handicapping system that people might want or not. So there is a bit of flexibility on the customization there. So back up to that. So I'll bring you guys back up. So I'm just going through. So I'll stop sharing just now. So as I said, the idea behind this is just to give you a quick sort of overview of it. If you've got some other sort of customized questions, just drop me an email or whatever, or do we have any questions just now I can maybe help you with, or any queries just now on it?
I've got a question, John. I'm not a golf club. We're part of the Senior Women's Scottish Golf Association, and we've 8 divisions. Now, for some reason, the Midlands is an outlier in terms of, I think I know why, but in terms of having a website. All the other divisions seem to have gravitated to your system. And I just didn't know where to start about how we get that done. We did have someone who had their own website business and ran our website for several years, but then moved and took it with them. So we're currently using something called Blogger, which is so clunky, so unsophisticated. And I'd like to turn it over into something a bit more. But it's for an association. Some of the stuff we'll use, and obviously other stuff we can't. So I believe that as part of the Senior Scottish Women's umbrella, the divisions actually have access to this.
You can, if you want to drop me an email, I can check that for you. But you're on. I'm sure you guys are on the premium level and you have access to this website software, and that's why they've went a lot across there. That's why a lot of these ones have moved over to the website to get the content fed into that. Do you know what I mean? As I said, exactly what you mentioned there, I used to do the website on behalf of my own club on a voluntary basis. They used to send me the results at 9:15 in the morning, then chase me at 9 o'clock because I hadn't put them on, and it was clunky and put stuff through. So that's why clubs are looking at the Club V1 website because the content's through. But certainly what you do is drop me a direct email and I'll check and make sure I can see that that's enabled for you, switched on for you, and show you what's there on it. As I said, and that's I meant about how, when I mentioned at the start there that some people are on it, some people aren't on it. that's where that actual test domain link's quite good as well, because you can look at the stuff through. Do you know what I mean? As I said, you probably would say like an example of a lot of clubs where they've maybe had someone's done it historically in the past, or someone's done it as a favour for the club, or you'd got an external system, and it's a bit of an issue because you try to get things changed on it or do updates on it or whatever. Is a bit of a nightmare. And as I said, most clubs, if you're on the premium level of Club V1, I tend to say to clubs it's there, so why not look at using it? Do you know what I mean?
I believe that we are, but I'll drop you a line and then we can look at it and start from there.
Yeah, and also I can really look at what you've got. And you go, Fiona, yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say hi, and I'm Fiona. I'm from the East Vets, or East Seniors as we now are.
Hi, Fiona.
We're using the system and have been for about 18 months. And it's quite helpful. So quite happy to sort of go offline and have a chat with you or meet up with you or something and go through how we use it and what we've done with it, if that helps.
Yeah, that's lovely, Fiona. I will do. I'll get in contact when we get sorted out with John, and you can just show me around. I mean, I'm not an expert by any manner of means, but I do know my way around and have put sort of things together. So you won't be dealing with a complete utter computer idiot.
To be honest, that
for the help.
To be honest, and Fiona, that's why clubs will say that unfortunately is a bit structured, the website, and there is certain limitations in what you can change on it, but it's to make it easy for people to use. We're trying to make it easy to use. If we let people get into doing coding and just to let you know, my background is I did web design before I started with Club Systems 10 years ago. So I know a lot of stuff that club people want to do. But when you start, you want to make it nice and simple to update. And clubs tend to overcomplicate things a little bit sometimes. But that's great, Fiona, if you can help. As I said, I can check with Anne what you've got. Just drop me an email. And then, Fiona, that's fine if you guys are using it.
I'll do that. And then I'll drop Fiona a text or a message, and we can maybe get together, Fiona. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm in Edinburgh, so I'm probably not that far away from you anyway. So.
No, I'm down that way quite often, so I'm sure that we can meet up.
One question I had, John, is one thing that we do find a wee bit clunky, and it's maybe the way I'm doing it. I tend to load images up in the media section using an iPad, and you get these long alphanumeric kind of photo names, and I'll go in and say, oh, this was the Midlands match or whatever. But then when we go and try and find them again, they never seem to be in a sort of logical order. Is there a better way of doing that?
At the moment, no. You can rename, obviously on a computer, you can rename your files and then upload them on the computer, rename them. I'm trying to think on the iPad, you can do it where you actually put the names in. I tended to find when I wrote out in batch, the names tend to get muddled up. They do know there's an issue on that. And you'll probably see that on the media side, there's been added in a link to sort of sorts by alphabetical thing on there. The next stage we're pushing for that is to be able to log in Club V1 is to change the names. If that makes sense.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
I
basically,
think I must have done it sometimes on the computer, and that seems to work. And I can go in alphabetically or say latest upload date. But I did a whole load yesterday on the iPad, and then they were all dotted about all over the place. So it becomes a bit
it's a name
to try and find them.
Yeah, that the one thing that's been also, which because I do a lot of stuff, because clubs are using it more and more and putting a lot of more images up there, what we need in there, and as I said, it is coming, is folders where you can actually put folders, put the media in folders. Where we've added in the facility we've pushed the developers to get the alphabetical link in there, which only works if the names are correct. But the next stage we're pushing for is to get folders in there and actually put stuff. So it'd be far easier to track because clubs have multi-million pictures in there now, media pictures, and actually it's only recently we added the option you've seen where you can actually bulk delete a lot of the images. So I know in the past clubs have said, I think maybe when I looked at your website at the very start, I maybe uploaded a lot of sort of test images there, and clubs have said to me, how can we clear all those out? You can now bulk delete, which is a good way to tidy up some of the images, but folders. The only delay will be on that is we're doing a bit of work on the app development. I don't know if you know, there's a new version of the app getting developed just now, so that's taking precedent just now before we look at this website part.
Okay, yeah. It's by far the most time-consuming thing of doing any update, I would have to say, when I get a whole load of photos from a map.
Yeah.
Try and get them added, yeah.
And the thing is, it'd be far easier if you could just create a folder called Saturday Sinclair Trophy match and you uploaded
Yeah.
pictures into that folder, then when you're looking for them, it's very easy to find, but it's a bit of a nightmare. The only way I tend to get around that is I tend to batch rename all my files on my computer. So I would call them Sinclair Trophy, and it'd be Sinclair Trophy 1, 2, 3, whatever on the computer, and that seems to help. But
Yeah,
that's
it
the
seems
computer.
to
I'm
work
not
on the
sure.
computer for some reason. If you do it on the iPad, it doesn't seem to like it, which sadly I forgot yesterday.
Yeah, no, and I'll test it on my iPad. I'll be hand in heart. I normally do it on my computer. I've never really done it on the iPad, but I'll maybe test it for you just to have a look at it as well.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, any other?
John, it's
yeah.
Anderson here. Humferson Golf Course here in West Lothian. We've got an existing website which is quite old, a bit clunky. So I've been considering looking at it for a while, hence why I've sort of come onto the session today. So just to be clear in my mind, I can create a sort of a test website through Club V1 by using the domain tab, as you said earlier on. Is that right?
Yeah, so basically what I tend to discuss with clubs, and it depends what level they want to be for, I say, my own involvement, and again, drop an email after this if you want some more info on that. Clubs we get to have two options. Clubs can either copy their content off their old website and themselves, or contact me and I can arrange to do it for it. There's obviously a cost for that for me to do it. Some clubs I will then create a whole new basically website with all their own content so they can see it. But what you do have on Club V1, you do have that test domain link that I showed you, and basically that allows you to see how the site would look in reality. And that's what clubs would use to view the site. So if I I'll just click back to share my page. Website, where it's there. That's on one, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, so if I look at my Club V1, so if you look at my Club V1 and I've got this domain link here, that 9952.clubsite or whatever, that's a test link, and that basically just shows me how the website looks. And what clubs would do is design all their site on this link. Nobody knows. I mean, if I click on Cardinal Golf Club, I'm not going to click on 9. I need to have 9952.clubsite to see that. But this allows me to preview the site. And then when I'm happy with it, we then just contact our guys and we basically take your current domain name, Pumpers, whatever, take your domain and then get it swapped over. Two things clubs need to just check though is that they have access to that domain name. A lot of clubs tend to find sometimes that the domain name is registered by somebody years and years ago who own it or whatever. But you tend to find who owns the domain name for the current website, and then when you're happy to change over, when you look at that preview link and you're happy with the website and you want to swap over, just contact us. We give you the changes to do at your end. Basically, to explain, it's what they call a DNS number, not to complicate it. The best way to explain what a DNS number is basically is it's like a phone number. So when you phone this number, it goes to that location. When you go on the website, to new website, phone the new change the number, you tell that number goes to that location. All you do is you change the location it points to. Nothing more complicated than that. We normally say to clubs it can take 24 hours just to change over when they decide they want to change over. Normally it can happen quicker on that, but we don't have control of that. It's submitted to Google and things to change over, but normally it's done quite easily to swap over. But you do, you do have an access though to totally see how the website looks before you swap it over. All I would say on that is don't get bogged down. Some clubs do where they don't swap over for years and years because they don't think the colour's right or the captain wants a different line in there. My advice is get it swapped over and then add on stuff as well rather than holding back, if that makes sense, from getting swapped over.
Okay, thanks for that. I've just got a few questions. Rather than delay things any further, I'll contact you offline because there's probably some stuff.
Just drop me a little email, and what I'll do is, as I said, the idea with these things, I'll catch up in Q&As like this, and as I said, just drop me an email, and I said I can even arrange a wee call with yourself, and we can go over it.
Thanks, John.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Yep. And Fiona's going to be my web expert going forward.
I don't know about that. No. I've learned from my mistakes, which is usually the best way to learn, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, best way. As I said, it's the plan is hopefully to try these wee things through, and as I said, follow up. And as I said, even after you've got any questions after, just give me a bell back, and we can go over any certain aspects.
That's perfect. I'll
Okay.
get in case when we're done, John. Thanks very much.
No
Lovely
bother.
insights.
Thanks.
Thanks now, bye.
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 I'll be in touch, Fiona.